Hello, Kampala Junior Academy. How are you? This is Teacher Onadi with the science topic, simple machines, subtopic, friction. And today I want to talk about ways how friction can be a nuisance force. When we say a nuisance, it means something useless or harmful. Now with this one, we talk about the disadvantages of friction. Ways how friction. In our last video, I talked about types of friction, advantages of friction. Now I want to talk about the ways how friction can be a nuisance force, how friction can be a disadvantage when we are using machines. Friction delays work. When you are using a bicycle or when you are riding and you find friction on the tires, you are going to try to pull this motorcycle or this bicycle. It's not going to move very fast. It's because of that rubbing caused by friction. In the process, work is going to be delayed. Work is not going to move very fast because of friction force. Then another one, we say that friction reduces the efficiency of a machine. Friction reduces the efficiency of a machine. Remember, machines simplify work. They increase the speed of working. If a machine has friction, if there is that unnecessary rubbing caused by friction, this machine will not be able to produce good work. The efficiency, that's when a machine simplifies work with ease. If there is friction, this machine will not be able to simplify this work with ease or in time. So we say the efficiency of a machine gets reduced when there is friction. Now we say friction reduces the efficiency of a machine. Then we have another one. Since there is that rubbing caused by friction, machines, now we say friction wears and tears machines. Friction wears and tears machines. For example, if I leave the metallic materials and I talk about our shoes. When you are moving, remember you buy a shoe with threads. Threads, those are like lines, those coils like lines on our shoes. When you are moving, when you are using that shoe, remember you are contacting the ground. There is that static friction between the ground and your shoe. Whenever you are moving, you are rubbing your shoe on the ground. Now between the shoe and the ground, there is that friction. After a period, you are going to find you check your shoe without threads. It is going to wear out. You can even get holes. You see, those holes are going to come because of friction. Now we say friction wears and tears machines, or wears and tears shoes. But I will not specifically talk about only shoes. I will say friction wears and tears machines. Now, if there is dirty rubbing in a machine, it means when these machines rub each other, excuse me, when these machines are rubbing each other because of friction, what will happen? Unnecessary noise is going to be produced. Now we say friction produces unnecessary noise in a machine. Friction produces unnecessary noise in a machine. When you are, let me talk about doors, metallic doors. In a metallic door, they put hinges. Those hinges are parts that hold the shutter on the door. Now, if you don't put oil, if there is friction in those hinges, when you are opening the door, it's going to make a noise. When you are opening and closing, the door is going to make a lot of noise. Even in motorcycles, if there is a part with high friction, or if there is a part with friction, this motorcycle is going to make a lot of noise when you are riding. Even bicycles, even cars, if there is increased friction in a certain joint or in a certain part, you are going to hear noise produced from those vehicles or motorcycles. And what brings that noise is this unnecessary rubbing, and that is friction. Now we say friction produces unnecessary noise in a machine. Then another one, friction produces unnecessary heat. When you rub your palms like this, you are going to feel that heat. But how is there any use of that heat in a machine? No. When you are driving a car and you find that if there is a part rubbing each other, automatically that part is going to produce heat, and that heat is useless in the car. Now, we say friction produces unnecessary heat. We have said friction produces unnecessary noise. Friction produces unnecessary heat. It wears and tears metals. It reduces the efficiency of a machine, and it increases the effort needed to do a given task. We say friction increases the effort or the force needed to do a given work. Friction increases the effort needed to do a given work or a given task. If the task is to ride a bicycle and you find that where they put in a wheel there is no oil or there is a lot of friction, it means you are going to use a lot of energy to make these tires move. Now, even when you are walking on a rough ground, there is increased friction. If there is that increased friction, it means you are going to use more energy when you are walking on that ground. Now it means friction increases the effort needed to do a given work. That's what I can say about the ways how friction can be a nuisance force. Now they are going to ask you a question that give ways how friction can be a nuisance force or disadvantages of friction. Then let us see the ways of increasing friction. Remember we talked about the advantages of friction. Then we can see the ways how we can increase friction. Ways how to increase friction. Now you ask me that, teacher, why do you increase friction? There is where this friction can be a useful force. I talked about the uses of friction as a force. Now this is where we need to increase friction. One, you can say by using spikes on sports shoes. By using spikes on sports shoes. Those of you who play football, there are specific types of shoes you are supposed to use. And those shoes, when you look at them, for example, if I try to draw a shoe, if I try to draw a sports shoe, I will not draw the best diagram, but I'm trying to show you the spikes, and some people call them teeth. Those are not teeth, but they are called spikes. These are spikes. Those spikes are put on those shoes to increase friction. It's a very common question they always ask children. How useful are spikes on sports shoes? Those spikes are put to increase friction, not to reduce, but to increase friction. And when friction is increased, you will not fall when you are using these sports shoes. Another way of increasing friction, we say by using treads on tires. By using treads on tires and shoes. When you look at a car tire, there are some lines. Those lines are a bit rough. Those are treads. If this is a tire, there are lines of this type. These are treads. These treads are put to increase friction, to prevent this car from sliding. When you check your shoes down, you are going to find the treads. These treads are put to increase friction. Then another one, by using grips, you can use grips. When you look at a car steering wheel, there are some plastic parts, there are some plastic grips, there are some swellings. Those swellings are called grips, and they are put to prevent the hand from sliding off. Those grips are put to increase friction. Another one, some people use grooves. By using grips or grooves to increase friction. Then, when the road is slippery, when you go to villages, this is where you find some poor roads which are slippery, mostly during rainy weather. You find people applying gravel. They pour small stones to increase friction. Now you can say, but you can use gravel by using gravel. You can use gravel in slippery roads. We use gravel, those small stones, to increase friction. These are some of the ways how you can increase friction. By using spikes, by using twigs, by using grips or grooves, and by applying gravel in slippery roads. All these ones are usually to increase friction. Then let me talk about the ways of reducing friction. This is the last part about friction. Ways of reducing friction. Ways of reducing friction. I told you there is a way we talk about friction as a useful force. Then we talk about friction as a nuisance force. This is where this friction is useful, and this is where this friction is not useful. Now we have seen the ways of increasing friction. Now I want to talk about the ways of reducing friction. Ways how we can reduce friction. It means making a rough surface slippery or making a rough surface smooth. That's how you can reduce friction. One, by lubrication. By lubrication. Now when we talk about lubrication, lubrication means making a rough surface smooth. Now there are ways how we can lubricate a rough surface. One, we talk about oiling and greasing. Now we talk about oiling and greasing. We apply oil in moving parts to reduce friction. We apply grease in moving parts of a machine to reduce friction. Now, the substances that are used to lubricate are called lubricants. This oil is a lubricant, and grease is also a lubricant. Now they are going to ask you, give one similarity between saliva and oil. Remember, saliva softens food, and this oil makes rough surfaces smooth. Now we will say saliva and oil are lubricants, or they can be used for lubrication. How does oiling reduce friction? It lubricates the two moving parts. Or oil makes the two moving parts slippery to avoid friction. Then another way of reducing friction, when you say by using oil, in this first topic, in this first point, if you say by using oil, that answer is not very correct. At least you say by oiling the two moving parts, or by oiling the moving parts, or by greasing the moving parts. If you forget the word lubrication, at least say by oiling the moving parts or by greasing the moving parts. Another one, by ball bearing. Balls, these are circular metals. There are some small metals and they are circular. These metals are put in wheels. I can draw a moving part. That's a small one. Then the big one. There are some circular metals of that type. Circular metals of that type, they are put in wheels of moving objects. Now this one, balls, now that is what we call ball bearings. They are used to reduce friction. How does ball bearing reduce friction? These balls reduce the two surfaces from rubbing each other. The balls prevent the two moving surfaces from rubbing each other. That's how ball bearing reduces friction. Then another way of reducing friction, by using rollers. If you are making an object move on the ground or on a rough surface, you are going to use a lot of energy, and when this rough surface contacts the ground, automatically friction is going to be formed between the object or between the machine you are pulling and the ground. Now, to simplify work, you can get circular materials like sticks. You put them between the object you are pulling and the ground. When these two sticks roll or move, they are going to prevent this direct contact of the object and the ground. For example, if you are pulling an object, from the ground, like this, you can use these rollers. These are rollers. These rollers, when they rotate, they are going to make this object move to prevent the direct contact of this object and the ground. These are some of the ways how we can reduce friction by ball bearing, by using rollers. Another one, the last one, by streamlining bodies. The last way of reducing friction by streamlining bodies. When you look at a fish, it has that shape. This is a streamlined body. This streamlined body helps to reduce friction. When this fish is moving in water, remember there is that type of friction in water called viscosity. When a fish is swimming, there is a possibility of this friction in water to stop this fish from moving. But when it is in this shape, in this streamlined shape, this sharp part is going to find it easy to penetrate that water, and this friction will just move away with water. Now we say by streamlining the bodies, when you look at an aeroplane is made in a streamlined body to overcome friction during flight. That's what I can say about friction. Let me stop here. I wish you well.